World War I, 1914, 1918, this was the first time that the German Navy decided that they would use submarines. They had envisaged using submarines to block the flow of munitions and food and supplies from America. If they could put out a wolf pack of submarines across the Atlantic, then all the ships coming from America would be vulnerable to these submarines. Submarines, as you know, could stay underwater, could stay hidden, and they would then surface in the evening whenever these ships weren't expecting them, and then they would blow them to smithereens and they would sink. This was before the days of the convoys. Convoys came later, and that was in World War II, but they didn't have convoys in World War I. In Germany, we had Otto von Schrader, who was a very well-known U-boat captain. And we call them U-boats because they're actually undersea Bodden, which is what the Germans call them, boats that go under the sea. And the crews in these submarines, maybe 70 of a crew at a time, absolutely horrendous conditions. They're cramped, they're smelly, there's no air, the engines are going all the time, so they look for any opportunity to get up and get some fresh air. Now, what Otto von Schrader was doing whenever he left Germany and he came down the Irish Sea, when he came down off Ardglass, well, Ardglass is a little port on the east coast, a little fishing port. He came upon 20 fishing schooners. And when he looked at the schooners, he could see that they had different markings. Some came from Kilkeel and some came from Ardglass. But the crews of the fishing trawlers soon realised that they were in a difficult position. This submarine had come up early in the morning with the sun behind it, and they couldn't see the submarine. So the submarine was able to creep up on them. The crews from Ardglass very quickly realised that something was amiss. They chopped the ropes that held the fishing nets, which meant that they could turn their ship round and get back to port. The ships from Kilkeel were not so fortunate. They stayed fast to the nets. The submarine surfaced. Otto von Schrader, whenever he realised that he had the fishing fleets from Ardglass and Kilkeel in front of him, he would have discussed with his other officers on board the ship. They would do a risk assessment. Are they likely to be come upon by a British merchant ship, or even worse, they would come upon by a British destroyer or somebody out to harm the submarine? There was nothing of that in the area. They felt free and confident that they could, on the surface, man the guns and sink these boats. The Ardglass boats got away. The Kilkeel boats didn't get away. The Kilkeel boats, crews were put into the little dinghies that they had, and they were told to row back to shore. They rowed back to shore, and they could see as they rowed away that the U-boat gun on board started to fire and sank the Kilkeel fishing boats. 3 of the boats, the Mary Rose, the Jane Gordon and the Cypress, they were Kilkeel boats. They were lost. The Kilkeel fishermen then had to make their way back home and tell the people back at home that the fishing fleet had been obliterated by Otto von Schrader in U-103 in his U-boat in the Irish Sea off Ardglass. After the war was over, von Schrader came to Kilkeel with a band from his hometown in Germany, and they played to the people on Kilkeel Quay. And they said to the people on the quay in Kilkeel, "We want you to know how we spared the lives of all your men. It was wartime. We sank their ships, we sank their boats, but we didn't hurt the people." And they wanted to get the forgiveness of the people in Kilkeel, and so far as I know, they probably did. Unfortunately, von Schrader went back to Germany, and for whatever reason, we just don't know, but in time he decided that he took his own life and met a very untimely death.